What is going on, guys? I am Consumer Tech Review, and today I'm gonna be going over the top 5 best budget gaming mechanical keyboards. I'm gonna go over the pros and the cons of each, going from the worst of the best to the best of the best. And if at any point during the video, if you wanna check out any of the 5 keyboards in this video, there'll be Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada. But let's jump into number 5. And that is the GK61 with mechanical yellows or optical yellow switches. Now, the optical switches are gonna be faster, but they're only gonna be hot swappable with other Gateron optical switches, whereas if you get the mechanical switches, you can hot swap these with any switch. Having yellow switches and a quick actuation time, so how far you have to press down that key before it gets recognized in your PC or whatever you're playing on, makes a giant difference when actually gaming. So much stuff you're like, oh, do you have to be an enthusiast to notice the difference? This is a very direct, distinctive difference. In first-person shooters like Warzone, movement just feels more telepathic, whereas before you would have to like kind of think about where you're moving. When you have something like a yellow switch, which is a much quicker actuation time, it's about 1.2 millimeters versus something like 2 millimeters. This is a huge difference. It feels like movement is just way more refined. People talk all the time about input lag and such things as this, but the actual time that it takes you to press down the key is also a huge part of it. And that's why yellow switches are a fantastic option. Now, the GK61 feels solid. The build quality is nothing crazy, but it is pretty good. It's fairly generic, but pretty good. Now, the keycaps are not the best. They have that ugly white printing on them. You're just gonna wanna take them off and put some custom keycaps on there. If you're not an enthusiast or you like the way it looks, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all up to opinion, but I would definitely take them off, put some PBT keycaps on there. And obviously this is a 60% keyboard, and this form factor is great for gaming on your desk. And if you need to do some school as well, it's great for that as well. And you might be like, why is this at the number 5 position? Well, it's 85 to 90 bucks. And if you get keycaps with that, you're looking at over $100 for a keyboard. And don't worry, there's a lot of cheaper options. This is a great option, but it's a little bit pricey. And compared to the other ones, even though it's still a fantastic keyboard, there's better options. Now, the next keyboard is the Redragon K585 Elite. Now, this is not your typical keyboard. This is a gaming-centered keyboard, a one-handed keyboard. Now, this keyboard uses Altemu blue switches. I wish that it used red switches, but it doesn't. Still a great keyboard. Now, if you guys game for a long period of time, this is where this thing excels. Because of the spacebar placement, your hand and because of the wrist rest, your wrist is raised up and your hand and your thumb are in a much more natural position. Now, if you're sitting down and gaming for 30 minutes and then going off and doing something else, you're not gonna want this keyboard. This is for, you know, we all have those days where we play video games the entire day. It happens. On those days when you can literally, your fingers feel like they're pulling apart. If you guys don't feel like that, but I do. And it sucks. With this keyboard, you don't feel like that at all. If I'm gaming for a long period of time, I just grab this thing, throw it on the desk, and get going. The wrist rest helps keep your hand in a good position. Spacebar is in a really good position. It's overall really nice. Now, with this keyboard, this is not a keyboard that you're gonna use for typing, obviously, because you can't. So having this in a wired version, which is the K585 Elite, is a game changer, because you can keep this thing in a drawer, under your desk, really wherever you want it, and just grab it, put it on the desk, flip the switch on, and you're ready to go. This connects with a 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle, which is also another big pro because there's no messing around with Bluetooth every time you want to use this. Maybe you don't use it for a couple days with a Bluetooth device. You might have to like reconnect it or repair it. With this thing, you just plug it in and it works. The range is also insane and it never had any cutouts. And for 57 bucks, this is a pretty luxurious piece of gaming gear because you're only going to be using this thing for gaming. It feels luxurious to have like dedicated things just for gaming. Moving on to the number 3 spot is another Redragon keyboard. This is the Redragon K599. Now, this keyboard uses Altemu red switches, which feel really great in game, but the stabilizers are where this thing really excels over the other keyboards on this list. They feel really good. They're really generously pre-lubed, and it feels super solid to game on. Build quality is great, and this thing is also wireless with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle with the on and off switch on the side, again, just like the K585 Elite. Now, the keycaps are okay. They feel fine. I don't like the font, and they have that secondary function white printing on it, which I hate, just like the GK61. So if you're gonna get this keyboard, switch it out with some custom keycaps if you do want. And this one actually has TechWear PBT keycaps. They're like 20 bucks, really nice, inexpensive, but they still feel great. I'll also have those linked below for Amazon. Now, this is a 70% form factor, so it's a little bit bigger than a 60% keyboard. It's got the arrow keys, which I enjoy because you got a little bit more functionality in some games. And for 53 bucks, this is one of the best keyboards out of the box, all stock. And in the number 2 spot, this is the Ractous K61 / GamaKay MK61. The Ractous is on Amazon and the GamaKay is on Bango.com. Also have that link below. Now you can get the GamaKay in optical yellow switches, which is awesome to see, and you can get the Ractous in reds, which is probably what you're gonna want. Both of these options are great for gaming. But again, that yellow switch is gonna actuate at 1.2 millimeters, which is really awesome. The build quality is pretty generic, it feels solid, but the big thing is it comes stock with double shot PBT pudding keycaps, which is awesome. The RGB on this thing is bright. It's got a lot of different features and colors and pudding keycap goodness. If you're into a lot of RGB like me, you're gonna like this thing, and it comes like this stock form. This is obviously a 60% form factor, and the keys feel good. The one that I have has yellow switches on it. It feels great, it games well. The sound is not the best, and that's one of the biggest drawbacks with this keyboard, but if you guys are just using this for the looks and the actuation, this is a great option. 65 bucks for the yellow switches on Bango.com and 60 bucks for the reds on Amazon. That's a pretty dang good price, especially because pudding keycaps alone usually cost between 20 to 25 bucks. But moving on to the number 1 spot, this is the Womier K87 with Gateron yellow switches. Now this thing comes with Gateron mechanical yellow switches in it, and it's also hot swappable. So if you want to put other switches, more of like enthusiast grade switches in here, maybe some tangerines, maybe you want to put some kale switches in here, it's fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches, so you can do that. So it's great to upgrade. Now the build quality of this thing is awesome. It is a full semi-translucent material, and RGB is all around the sides. You can see into the PCB. It's super bright and it's very, very cool. And it actually feels and sounds really good, better than I was expecting for this type of build. Now this is a TKL, so it's much bigger than the 60% form factor, but it's more usable for everyday usage as well as gaming. But guys, when you're gaming and when you're in a game and you got this like massive RGB on your desk, this isn't just a keyboard, it's a feeling. You look down or you're just in your peripherals and it's just glowing all on your desk. The images on Amazon do not do this thing justice. It is ridiculously bright. And I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought it was like gonna be like too loud or like spastic. It's not like that at all. It's way cleaner than it appears to be online. But this is a really awesome keyboard. Any of the keyboards on the list would be amazing for gaming, especially at a lower price point while you're not getting kale switches and stuff like that. But for $89 for the Womier, this thing is absolutely worth it. But again, guys, if you want to check out any of the 5 keyboards in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and it found you a more budget option for a fast gaming keyboard that you guys can use every single day. I tried to include aesthetics as well as usability, as well as like the yellow switches. So it's hard to find very inexpensive keyboards with something like yellow switches or silver speed switches or cherry MX silver switches. Those things are getting up into a higher price range, which is awesome and it's great, and like big polling rates and everything like that, but you're not gonna find that at a low price range like 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks. If you wanna go off the deep end and go and get Corsair's like super high polling rate and everything, I will be doing a review of one of their keyboards very, very soon. They're champion grade stuff. Definitely subscribe if you wanna check that out. But guys, again, any of these keyboards will be absolutely fantastic for gaming. I've gotten a ton of hours with each one of these keyboards in a bunch of games, Warzone, and things such as that. Also, if you want to check out individual reviews for any of these keyboards, I have every single one of these in its own separate review on my channel, so definitely go check that out. So this was Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys later.